Good morning, readers, and welcome back to day 4 of Quarantine Literacy Life is Not Fair theme. And I'm going to add a little parentheses to the end of Life is Not Fair. You ready? Life is not fair, parentheses, but we can find something to be grateful for, end parentheses, right? And we talked 2 days ago about making a gratitude list and just adding things to your list and thinking about all of the things that you can be grateful for right now. That even though there are so many things that are super abnormal and that are out of your control, there are still quite a few things that you can be grateful for. And I didn't share my list yesterday. I forgot, so I brought it today. And I'm going to share the things I'm grateful for. My amazing daughter and husband, my sweet doggie, who really helps when I'm feeling anxious. I just cuddle her and I often feel better. My family and friends, who are just making me feel so loved and happy right now, even though I can't actually see a lot of them in person. My students, who help me remember that even though things feel kind of wacky right now, I still get to see them every day and work with them. My house. I lived in a tiny apartment in New York City for many, many years, and it was wonderful. And if I was there, I'd be so grateful for that because I love that city so very much. But right now, I'm super grateful to have a house with a backyard and a garden. I'm also grateful for my hot tea every day, you guys. I drink like 5 cups of hot tea a day probably. My cozy blankets. If you guys watch the weekend edition with my daughter, we always place our books on one of our super cozy blankets. So check that out because those are like my favorite. They're fake fur and they're just so soft and I love it. Because it's still cold here where we live. It's still pretty cold and rainy. You guys, Netflix, how many people are watching TV shows and movies like all the time right now? Because I'm watching so many and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to have those streamed, so I don't have to. You guys don't even know about video stores. You're probably too young for video stores, but we used to have to trudge all the way outside and to a storefront, go inside and spend hours picking out movies and fighting over which movie we were going to rent, and then we had to pay to rent it and take it home, and then we had to bring it back. It was a whole thing, you guys. So now we can just stream it online, and it's amazing. I am grateful for yummy food, especially popcorn. Popcorn is like my jam right now. We make popcorn every day. And I am grateful for good books because I have spent a lot of time reading with you guys and on my own over these weeks. And that has been very healing for me. So yesterday, after we read Peter's Chair, we talked about generosity and how even in a time when you have very little to give, generosity and gratitude can really help to quiet grief. And grief is probably a little bit of what you're feeling right now, right? You're grieving the loss of school, the loss of the ability to go outside. There's a lot of things that are different in your world right now that you're probably grieving for. And that's okay, that's normal. But to help quiet and calm that grief, we can show gratitude. Right? We can tell people how grateful we are for them. We can make lists of all the things that are going well in our lives. And we can be generous. We can do generous acts for folks. And it can be something as simple as what my daughter did, which is that she just wrote a thank you to the folks who are still making deliveries to our house. And you can see that it's been outside, so there's like some raindrops on it. It just says, thanks to the delivery people for being in the world when others aren't. Thank you. I just thought that was so sweet. Just to show gratitude and just that little act of generosity, right? Just like, hey, you're doing an amazing thing and I want to give you some props for it. And that's a simple way to sort of show gratitude and do something that is like a gift to someone else, right? Just write a simple note. So I hope that you thought of one way that you could do a generous act for someone either in your family or in your community while staying safe, of course. So today, the book that we're going to read on our 4th day of quarantine literacy, Life is Not Fair, find something to be grateful for, that's in parentheses, is called We're All Wonders, written and illustrated by R.J. Palacio. And this actually is a young adult novel, a beautiful novel for older kids. My students, my older middle school students, have read it. And this is the younger version. And this is such a beautiful story too. So I hope you'll enjoy it. We're All Wonders. I know I'm not an ordinary kid. So there he is. Does he look, he's saying ordinary. Does he look like a typical kid that you might see in your class? He may not, right? You notice there's a few things that make him unique, that make him stand out as kind of different. He's got one eye. There's no nose or no mouth, right, in this illustration of him. So he says, I know I'm not ordinary. Sure, I do ordinary things. I ride a bike. There he is riding a bike. I eat ice cream. I play ball. So he can do lots of things that you probably do, huh? Super capable. I just don't look ordinary. There he is, Augie. I don't look like other kids. So he's got a bunch of pictures of other kids who look a little bit more typical. 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth, right? Here they all are. He's saying, yeah, I don't look like those guys. My mom says I'm unique. She says I'm a wonder. My dog Daisy agrees. There's Daisy. But some people don't see that I'm a wonder. All they see is how different I look. Yeah. It's pretty easy to just see somebody for what they look like, right? Because that is the first thing that you see with your eyes. It's harder to get to know somebody and get to see what makes them unique and interesting and different, but also what makes them very similar to us, right? So it's always good when you first meet somebody. It's okay to recognize the ways in which they're different from you, but it's also important to recognize the ways in which they're the same as you. Sometimes they stare at me. They point or laugh. They even say mean things behind my back, but I can hear them. Sometimes when someone or something is different, we have a hard time understanding them, and so we judge them. Maybe it's because we feel nervous around them. Maybe it's because we don't know how to treat them. And that's okay. That's normal stuff, you guys. It's normal to react. The important thing is to remember that even if you have an initial reaction, it's important to check yourself and just be like, why am I having that reaction? Is it just because that person's kind of different? What's wrong with different, right? And you can always check in with an adult and ask for help if you're nervous about someone or something. It hurts my feelings. Yeah, so Augie's not feeling good because it doesn't feel good to have people say rude things about you or to not want to play with you. What a terrible feeling that is. I bet we've all felt that way at one time or another. Hurts Daisy's feelings too. When that happens, I put on my helmet. I put Daisy's helmet on too. And then we blast off, up, 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 up through the clouds. So when he's feeling down, he uses his imagination to go on a trip across the galaxy. And there they go. Wow. Can be a good escape to use our imaginations. All the way to Pluto. We say hello to old friends. What do you notice about those friends? Do they look more like Augie? Yeah, look at that. They've got one eye, no nose, and no mouth, just like him. Sometimes it can feel comfortable to be around people who look like us, right? But it's really important, you guys, that we expand our horizons, that we spend time with people who don't look just like us, and that we open our hearts and our arms to all sorts of different kinds of people, right? From far away, the earth looks so small. I can't see any people, but I know they're there. Billions of people. People of all different colors. People who walk and talk differently. People who look different, like me. The earth is big enough for all kinds of people. Boy, that is true. The earth is a big place full of all sorts of people. There's enough room for all of us. I know I can't change the way I look, but maybe, just maybe, people can change the way they see. Oh, that's a beautiful line. I can't change the way I look, but maybe people can change the way they see. So instead of just seeing Augie as different and as somebody with one eye or no nose or no mouth, maybe they could just see him as a person with thoughts and fears and ideas and emotions. I like that idea. If they do, they'll see that I'm a wonder. You sure are, Augie. You are a wonder. And they'll see that they're wonders too. We're all wonders. Look with kindness, and you will always find wonder. Oh, I love that. What a beautiful message, to look with kindness. When you look at people, you don't have to see what makes them different. We're all unique, and we should celebrate that we're unique. That's a beautiful thing, to be a wonder. But we can't judge people just based on what they look like, right? It's so important to get to know somebody before you make a decision about who you think they are. And as you guys go through your days where you're mostly at home and you're mostly with family, I want you to remember that while it may feel safe and comfortable to be with them, and it is, and it's important right now, that when the world opens back up to us, we have to remember to see with kindness. Okay, you guys. I am looking forward to our last day together tomorrow in this new theme of life is unfair, right? People don't always see us the way we want them to see us. And then we will do our weekend edition after that with my daughter. I hope that you are all reading, and I hope that you're all being kind to yourselves and to those around you. Until tomorrow, readers. Bye.